British East India Company was the most formidable military machine on the planet. They had conquered the plains of India, dismantled the Maratha Empire, and turned their eyes toward the rugged, defiant peaks of the Himalayas. They expected a short, decisive campaign. They sent 4,000 veteran soldiers, backed by heavy artillery and the bottomless coffers of the company, to seize the central gateway of Butwal. Facing them was not a grand army, but a young 24-year-old Colonel Ujir Singh Thapa and a force of just 1,200 men. The British saw a routine conquest. The Gorkhalese saw a wall they would defend with their lives. By sunset, one of these commanders would be hailed as a national savior, and the other would be remembered for one of the most embarrassing retreats in British colonial history. This is the Battle of Jitgadh. To understand why blood was spilled at Jitgadh, we have to look at the map. In the early 19th century, the Gorkha Empire was at its zenith, stretching from the Tista River in the east to the Sutlej in the west. But as they expanded downward into the fertile Tarai Plains, they collided with the commercial interests of the British East India Company. The flashpoint was Butwal. Both empires claimed these lands for their agricultural wealth and strategic trade routes. When diplomacy failed, the British Governor-General, Lord Moira, decided it was time to teach the mountain warriors a lesson. The British launched a massive four-pronged invasion. While other columns attacked the far west and the east, the central column, the hammer meant to break the Nepalese midsection, was placed under the command of Major General John Sullivan Wood. His objective? March through Butwal, climb the hills to Palpa, and effectively cut the Gorkha Empire in half. The leadership on both sides could not have been more different. General John Sullivan Wood was a veteran officer, but he was cautious, perhaps to a fault. He was leading 4,000 men with professional training and heavy mountain-clearing artillery. Opposite him stood Colonel Ujir Singh Thapa. At just 24, he was young, but he understood something Wood did not. The terrain was his greatest weapon. Ujir Singh knew he couldn't win a traditional European field battle. He needed a force multiplier. He found it at Jitgadh, on the banks of the Tinau River. He ordered his men to build a stockade, a massive low-profile fortress made of heavy timber and earth, hidden so deeply in the jungle foliage that British scouts wouldn't see it until they were staring down the barrels of Gorkha muskets. January 14, 1815. The sun rose over a thick, humid fog in the Tarai Plains. General Wood's column began its march toward the Jitgadh fort. The British soldiers, dressed in their bright scarlet tunics, were easy targets against the green backdrop of the jungle. Wood was confident. He believed the Gorkhalese would retreat the moment they saw the scale of his force. But as the vanguard of the British line crossed the clearing near the stockade, the silence of the jungle was shattered. The Gorkha defenders unleashed a coordinated volley of musket fire. Because the stockade was so well camouflaged, the British didn't know where to return fire. They were caught in a kill zone, the Tinau River at their back and an invisible enemy in front. Confusion gripped the British ranks. In the chaos, the Gorkhalese fought with a ferocity that threw the redcoats into a panic. This was the moment of decision. General Wood still had thousands of fresh troops in reserve. He had the artillery to blow the stockade to splinters. But as he looked at the mounting casualties and the ferocity of the Gorkha defense, he began to overthink. He feared he was walking into a massive trap. He imagined thousands of warriors waiting to sweep down and cut off his retreat. To the shock of his own officers, General Wood ordered a full retreat. The 4,000-man hammer of the British Empire turned around and fled back toward Gorakhpur. The 1,200 defenders at Jitgadh had done the impossible. The victory at Jitgadh was a turning point. It stopped the British advance on Butwal and saved the Midwestern hills from invasion. While the British would eventually win the war, Jitgadh remains an undefeated bastion in the history of Nepal. For the British, Wood's retreat was a scandal. For Nepal, Ujir Singh Thapa became a legend. Every year, the city of Butwal celebrates this victory to honor the day a young colonel and a wooden wall stood their ground against an empire. The Battle of Jitgadh reminds us that in war, numbers are just figures on a page, but courage and terrain are the true authors of history. If you want to see more stories of Himalayan defiance, hit that subscribe button and join us at Himalayan Ink and Iron. Which battle of the Anglo-Nepalese War should we cover next? Let us know in the comments below.